Hello viewers, I'm SB and this is Freshly Frosted, a puzzle game about donuts. Kind of, sort of. The donuts are metaphors. The whole factory is a metaphor, actually. And you'll see when we get in here. It's always tricky to show off a puzzle game in a way that's like compelling but doesn't give too much of it away. So here's what we're gonna do. Because the game's very committed to its donut metaphor, the puzzles are presented in these boxes of 12. There are 12 boxes in all, so 144 in total. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you just like a couple from box 2, a handful of puzzles from box 2, so that you get the basic idea, you see what the underlying mechanics are here, and then we're going to jump up to where I currently am in box 7, see if we can maybe solve one or two. And that'll be it. That'll give you a good taste for what's going on here. So each box is a different type of donut that you are making with some different, mechanical focus, but the same mechanics really run throughout.
Sometimes there's so much going on in my head, you need to focus to see how it all fits together. Kind of like this.
So the metaphor here, the donut factory is a metaphor for like meditatively grappling with your thoughts. I don't know. I think it's a little loose, but it gives them a good reason to have us build a bunch of donut factories in the sky while accompanied by this lady who is just like maximum cool and chill. And honestly, I've been having a wonderful time. I'm having a wonderful time with it. So here's how it works. We have these ovens here. When we press the play button in the upper right, the ovens are going to put out plain donuts. You can see up here the 3 types of donuts that we have to deliver to complete the level, and you can see our pickup counters specify the kind of donut that they want. That's the case for some levels, not all of them, but all of the ones that we're going to see here in box 2. The pickup counters will specify the thing they're looking for. So if we just run a conveyor belt from an oven to a pickup counter, we'll just drop off a plain donut. If we want to put toppings on our donuts, we have to route them in front of these little topping machines. And the toppings have to go on in order in a way that's pretty obvious. I mean, if you just look at it, the toppings are literally vertically stacked. So the pink frosting goes on first, then the blue sprinkles. So let's just go ahead and do this one. So I did solve all these puzzles that we're about to see, but I did them like over 24 hours ago, and y'all know how my memory is. So we will be coming at these semi-fresh. So we need to get a sprinkle donut to here. Immediately I'm thinking I probably have screwed this up. This is probably not right. So let's just undraw that belt. Because if this is true, there's no way to get a donut from here to here without cutting off this oven's access to the rest of the map. And if we use this oven to do it, I mean, we literally can't, right? Like, yeah. There's no way to do that. Let's not make this the plain one. Which means this one definitely just goes up here and gets some frosting. And probably then this is just the frosted donut. Yeah, this makes a lot of sense actually, because then if we route the plain donut like this around the outside, this oven can get sprinkles very quickly and easily. And there we go. And now it is time for our reward. I just really love watching the donut factories work. Y'all, there's something about this that is just so satisfying to me.
Oh, thank you.
And after you've done it, they'll let you just sit there and watch it for as long as you want. And the little song plays, and it's a different song in each box. And
Look at all these donuts we need to make. One of each.
So
What do you think the filling is in these? I hope it's a nice summery lemon filling.
So the puzzles start very simple, and I think the game actually ramps up pretty slowly. It stays easy and chill for quite a while. It does, however, get quite a bit more difficult. Yesterday I was pretty stuck where I left off, so we'll see if that's still the case here. So one of the things that's useful in a routing puzzle is just to make sure that you're not cutting yourself off. So like it's very compelling to say, do this to deliver the plain donut, because then like this only uses the space that's off in the corner. It doesn't interfere with the space that could be reached by any other oven. This feels like it's probably right. If this is right, then this top left oven can, I think, literally only do this, and that works out just fine for us. This oven on the bottom is locked into this space. And looking at how we want to make our cherry on top donut, I think there's a little bit of a theme running through this level. These stations being laid out like this really gives it all away. And then, yeah, we just do the same thing here. All zigzags all the time. It's good, right? I don't know what it is exactly.
Yay!
What it is exactly about this that is so compelling to me, but it's just... my brain feels soothed. It is like a massage directly on my brain.
Doubled up. 2 frosted and 2 whipped cream. Where should we start?
This is a good question. Okay, so this delivery is very easy, right? The frosting thing is right in front of it. We definitely don't want this, although it's tempting to just immediately draw the line here. We definitely don't want this to be the rightmost oven, because if we do this, we've cut the field in half and there's no way to deliver, like, these are all useless now, right? So in fact, if we're going to use those, it pretty much has to be the rightmost oven that uses them. Then we got a donut with whipped cream on it, so it goes here. Now that this is true, this has to be the oven that services that, because that's the only one that there's room for. If we want to take advantage of the left space, it's going to have to be this one that does it. So yeah, pretty straightforward. I really like the ones where they use every tile of the floor, because I think it makes the ending factory even more compelling. It's just there's so much movement. There's so much perfectly timed movement.
That looks so easy. This one looks simple. Wait, how do you...
I really love the narrator is doing spectacular work here. She just sounds so... she is so chill that it's impossible to... You are compelled to take in the chill. You are compelled to reflect that level of calm, and it's just... it's very relaxing. It's a very relaxing experience. I'm extremely eloquent today, as you can tell. So... if we're dedicated to not cutting ourselves off, this is a little tricky, huh? Alright, one thing that's often very helpful is to start with the harder element of the puzzle. It's pretty easy for this left oven to pick up the toppings in the right order. This one we have to do a little bit more work for. So let's start by getting this over to here, and then we can sort of like do this scoop formation. And actually this looks like it's going to work out really well, right? Because now we can just nail that there, and then I guess this ends up being almost exactly the same thing. Yeah, there we go. So this one would take quite a while to run. They do include a fast forward button, so you can fast forward if that's your thing. I don't, generally. It's a combination, for me,
Awesome.
I think, of the mechanical motion, perfectly timed, and the sound, and yeah, it's good. It's real good.
Hey, thanks for all your help. You're doing great.
It's so good I'll even let it get away with that. Honestly, it's just endearing. Okay, well, over here on the left, like, I really want to do this. That seems very straightforward. That's almost got to be right? Because if you interfered with this in any way, it would make this oven's routing really weird. So we can do this. That's pretty straightforward. And then it's just like... yeah, these early ones are not too difficult. This is very good.
Sweet. you know that automatic donut making is older than sliced bread? We should be saying that's the best thing since donut factories.
I don't know if that's I mean, it's basically got to be true, right? Why else would they? But it doesn't seem like it can be, right? Okay, so first thing that jumps out immediately, obviously, is this is the oven that's producing the plain donut because all the other ovens are frosting immediately. This one gets its whipped cream right at the end. So, like, in terms of staying out of the way of the other lines, this is that's pretty out of the way and pretty easy. That means then we're running the plain donut right across here, which is a little awkward. But actually, I think it does work just fine, right? Because we do this, and then this one has room to run around the back. Yeah. Okay. So that's sort of the basics. That's the most basic idea. They do a lot with it, though, over the course of the game. They introduce some more complicated routing machines and...
Yay!
Well, you're about to see, right? Let's go ahead and jump forward from here.
Now I want a donut. Or I could have 2 donuts.
See, this is why I like her. She's a big thinker. It's good to have ambition. So let's jump, like I said, up here to box 7. I am not promising any solutions. This is where I stopped for a reason, but we'll see. You know, looking at it with fresh eyes, maybe we'll get a little bit of progress here.
Good night, little moons.
So this machine right here is a splitter. We route the donuts in through the top, and it alternatingly pushes them out to the left or the right. And this thing here is a bumper. When donuts pass in front of it, any donut that exactly matches what is on top of the bumper gets pushed off to the side. And I imagine the idea is you push it off and then you route it to the counter that accepts that donut. But you know what? It strikes me that maybe it would be a good idea to go back 1 or 2 so that you can see the splitters work in a puzzle where I actually had a solution at some point.
The sky always seems so wide and endless. At least when it's not full of puzzles.
This one doesn't actually have a splitter. Hold on. Basically, I want to give myself a little bit of a running start.
One of each topping.
Okay, here we go. So everything involves at least frosting. Okay, I see it. So we hit the splitter. Half of the donuts are going to get pushed out here and gain sprinkles. Half of them are going to get pushed out here, and we want those ones to go all the way to the end because we have to score at least some frosting donuts. So when they pass in front of this, they're going to get bounced to this space and pushed down. Then these ones with the sprinkles get split. Half of them get pushed through here, pushed out onto that, and dunked. The other half come out this side, get the whipped cream, and so on. So stuff that gets bounced by this bumper ends up here. There, like that. So over time, we'll get at least one of each out here, and you can see the bumpers doing their work now.
Nice.
Okay, so that's how those work. And also, I've built up my confidence a little bit.
Good night, little moons.
Oh, it didn't take us... Okay, I thought it was going to take us to that other finished puzzle, but all right, this is fine. So we're just back at this one. So how do we want to do this? I mean, it feels like this is probably right. We don't know whether these belts are going up or down, but... What is the role of the splitter here? And also... Okay, what if I'm thinking about this wrong? Maybe the point of the bumper is to give us. See, when something gets pushed off the bumper, we know that it's a sprinkle donut. So then we feed it into the splitter. Half of them get pushed up here to get whipped cream, and the other half end up right there. I mean, the obvious problem here is it would be very difficult to build this in a way that didn't completely cut off access to the frosting machine. In fact, potentially literally impossible. Let's reset that. Yeah, that frosting machine is in actually like a very awkward spot because we definitely can't use this space. Like we have to enter the frosting machine space from one side and exit it on another side. And we can't use this space for either because if we don't route things into the counter, we're making that counter unserviceable. And if we do route it into the counter, then the donuts are going to get routed into the counter. So we know that this is accessed either by doing this or by doing the reverse. It could be like a loop of some kind, not exactly like this, because obviously this separates those. But so if we were to run the donuts right now, donuts will only take toppings when they're in the correct state for them. So like a plain donut just goes right past the sprinkle machine. Then it'll get frosted. It'll pass the check here and just keep going up. It'll wrap around and get sprinkles on its second pass. And then at that point, it gets bounced by this thing. Obviously, that's not a solution, but it's maybe like a shape that a solution could take. A general form. All right, what if we do, let's say at the sprinkle machine, we wrap up around here so that there's still room to access this in this way. And then how do we, because we could go down around this thing. That's probably not right. Maybe something like that. And then when, see, this is a problem. We can't use this to seed the, okay, since we know for a fact that this belt has to be L-shaped, either facing this way or facing that way, we know that we can't have a belt in this square that isn't pointing to this situation, because otherwise there's no way to ever deliver sprinkled donuts in this puzzle. So we know this is right. We know this is a real thing. And so it has to be the case that only half of the sprinkled donuts ever go past this thing, right? We have to use the splitter to divide the sprinkled donuts before they reach this, because otherwise we're never going to be able to put whipped cream on a donut. So the splitter does that. No, that can't be right though. Because like, how does this actually work? Half of the donuts get pushed out to here, get frosting, then get sprinkles, and then get split again. But what happens to the plain donuts that end up over here, right? I think that breaks the puzzle if a plain donut reaches this. I guess let's try it and see. So like I said, no sprinkles on the plain donut.
That delivery counter only wants donuts
okay.
with whipped cream.
I was pretty sure those were the rules, but I'm having a little bit of a crisis of imagination here. I'm not really sure how we solve this then. The frosting machine being here makes things very difficult, but it makes them very difficult at least in a way that gives us a big hint as to what we need to do. But I'm still not getting it. The hint is not enough. There is a hint system in the game I've not used yet. I mean, I guess this is a fine time for it.
These conveyors feel right.
Okay, so it resets your factory and it gives you an initial state. These conveyors feel right. I don't like that. Okay, if the logic from earlier is right, this is a possibility, right? So we have multiple belts routing into here. We must have a belt that's routing down into this thing. But from there, what? It does feel like it wants to be splitting the sprinkled donuts. But again, it's so hard to know. How do we set up a position where we are only sending sprinkled donuts to get the whipped cream and then get put into the whipped cream counter? I am actually not even the slightest bit sure. Yeah, I don't know. I've got nothing. I mean, there's a skip puzzle button on the menu too, in case you're really trapped on one. So let's just go ahead and skip puzzle. This is another thing I've not done yet.
It comes to an end. A very puzzling end.
Because, when I get stuck, I just stop playing for the night. Okay. This one, So we need to deliver one of each kind. The thing that kind of jumps out to me to do intuitively here is something like this. And then half of the plain donuts get shunted out the bottom there, and we just deliver them directly, and that ensures the plain donuts can happen. And then, like, what we can do with this thing, something like that. Let me explain my logic here. So half of the donuts will just get dumped out and scored. Half of them will get bounced up here, and because we're visiting the topping stations in reverse order, they'll only pick up one topping as they go through the loot. If they're already plain, they don't do anything until they get to the frosting. If they're frosted, they just pick up sprinkles. And then half of those get dumped into the output, and the other half gets sent back up to take another trip through the circle to pick up the next topping. And in theory, eventually you end up with some donuts at each stage of development getting dumped out. And this is just like an exit for donuts that are totally done, and they get put on the direct out conveyor. This might work. So that's going to score us a bunch of plain donuts. And then this thing happens. Oh. Yep, I see a problem here. Because we're producing this situation where there's always an odd number of donuts between the frosted donuts as they come back around, the splitters are always going to be in exactly the same position when the frosted donuts reach them. All of the frosted donuts are going to get sorted up here. They're going to get sprinkled, and then they're going to get sorted down here. And that means nothing ever takes a third trip through the middle. I do not know how to fix that. Oh, that's a belt timing problem. So, how would we... What I need to do is, like, introduce some jitter, but You can't really do that in a fully deterministic donut factory. What if we... Gosh, I have actually no idea. You know what? Maybe that's an okay place to just call it. I think I've done a good job here of demonstrating that the puzzles definitely get more intellectually challenging. They get more complex as well, but that's not necessarily the same thing. It's nice to see it do both, though. Yeah, so that's going to be it for us for Freshly Frosted. This just came out. You can buy it right now. It totally rules. I am having just the most wonderful time with it. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this was useful to you. And come back next time tomorrow for some more new stuff, some different stuff, and we'll see you then.